I'm working on the porn that's always in the DVD player. Working with the editor and everything. It's the intention to be done with that by the end of the month. That's the intention, but we don't know. But 3 books are going to drop this year. 3 new books, so just letting you know. And, oh yeah, between Twitter, Facebook fan page, groups, and here on YouTube, there will be the boot camp. But I haven't set it up. Once I set it up, I'll let you know, and I'll disperse all that information. Alright, so now to the video. Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. The title of this joint, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. This is a Peter Street story. When I first started buying storage unit auctions, U-Haul was one of my favorite routes because they had 2, a Monday route and a Saturday route. And I noticed back in the day, on Saturdays, a lot of the big time players and the big dogs and the whales, they didn't come out on Saturday because they were at their shop or were there at the flea market. So, very thin crowd. So I used to ride the trail all day. Back then, my money was kind of thin. So usually I ended up buying a gang of units at Peter Street. That's why there's so many Peter Street stories. And this is one that is just like, I didn't make any money on the unit. Unit only cost me $5, but it was so, well, that's not true. When I say I didn't make any money, I didn't make a grip. I made like maybe $200, $250, cost me $5. So I was actually way ahead of the curve. I had to work for it because this guy was homeless. And the reason I say Papa got a brand new bag is the whole unit was full of nothing but bags, Wayfield bags, Parisians, Macy. There were no boxes. Everything in the unit was in a shopping bag or a plastic bag or a trash bag. It was crazy, and this guy was a collector. He collected matchbooks. He had all these little matchbooks for some of the best restaurants. And this, was a while ago because a lot of places now you can't smoke, so you're not getting any matchbooks. And it was just like I was going through the unit because, like I said, throughout the bid, there was only like 6 of us there. I said $5, and it was one of those units where I was like, please let someone else bid. That's what I said. If you don't want it, don't bid on it. I'm telling you, because as many times it will let you have it. And they let me have it, and I was just like, I reluctantly put my lock on it because the room had a little stank to it, okay? It had a little aroma. There was definitely some crispiness about it. And we went on with the auction. I ended up buying 4 more rooms, some way nice. It was a good day because I spent maybe $200 and collectively it maybe earned about $3 grand off that. So it was a good day. It was just, but this room was so freaking interesting because you open up one bag, there's matchbooks. You open up another bag, there are salt and pepper packets. Yes, the little packets that you get at the restaurant. He had a bag full of them, just hundreds, maybe thousands of them. I'm just like, who does this? And then go to another bag. There's soap and soap scraps. I think he used to work at a hotel because there was a lot of shampoo. There was, little toiletries, a little toothpaste. There was a whole bunch of hotel type hygiene products. So there was bags of that, bags of soap scraps. There was a bag of shampoo. And this was at the beginning of the unit. So I'm going through this stuff, and this is where, sometimes having a partner helps you out because I was just going to throw it away. My partner's like, what's wrong with you? We're going to bag that up in a little bag and put $1 on it and sell it at the garage sale. And that stuff sold like hotcakes. That shit was funny as hell. I was like, okay, you're right. I didn't know. People buy a lot of stuff used. Trust me on that. And going through the room some more, and then I started to get to his personal life. I got to the old black and white photos, and he was an Atlanta daddy. I should say an Atlanta dandy. Because back in the day, Atlanta had a certain mystique. There was a lot of cats, that Ben Hill crowd, that Morehouse spelt. He was one of those folks that, honestly, I think he became mentally ill and lost everything and was, it was clear that he was homeless based on how the unit was stacked up and the aroma. That's because he slept in there on occasion. Don't know why he lost it, but beautiful black and white pictures of old Atlanta. There were some notable people that he was close to. I don't know if he knew these people. And it was just really, really strange that the first few feet of the unit was all this nonsense stuff. Like I said, the salt and pepper packets, the soap. Then I opened up one bag and it was nothing but socks. And the thing is, once you got past that first section, the unit became extremely neat. Even though stuff was in bags, it was either rolled up or folded up or tucked up. There was one shirt that must have been folded up for years because it had, like, when I unfolded it, where the crease was darker than the actual shirt. It was like, I don't know how long he had that shirt. But just to look at his life, because he was a Morehouse grad, there was this degree in there, and there was things you could tell. There were things that he really, really, really thought highly of, because there was this pair of shoes, a really old pair of shoes, but they were in great shape, and he had them in the box, and he had socks over the shoes. And they had this really, really super shine on it. It was a spit shine. I was in the military. I know what a spit shine looks like. And it was like freaking, the shoes looked like mirrors. I was like, who is this dude? How does that happen? And during one of my periods of hardship, I learned that a lot of homeless people get that way because of mental illness. That's the number one reason that people go homeless, because their family can't deal with them anymore. If they're on medication, they don't want to take their medication, and dealing with someone like that, that's a huge struggle. And I just peered back, and I looked at this guy, and then got to the back and got what that I love: letters. There were no journals, but there was love. There was love letters that he wrote to his wife, who had passed on to glory. And that may have been the thing that pushed him over the edge, because from what I could put together, because I wasn't there, and I'm just assuming, is that shortly after she died, he lost it. Because here's a person who was clearly educated, who was clearly neat, and then something major happened in his life where he lost it. Because all the stuff about his wife and the love letters and everything, it was in this nice little box, and everything was dressed right. I mean, it was clear that he treasured that stuff. Anything that he really treasured, and there was already a neat unit, it was even neater, and it was well packed together. And I read some of the letters and stuff, and I think that's kind of like a lost art, because it was some beautiful stuff. It was just some beautiful stuff. And it makes me wonder, what happened to, Papa? And he had kids. There was pictures of him, the wife, and the kids. Hopefully, maybe they rescued him or something. I don't know. But that is one of the things that drove me in the business, because you get a unit and you open it up, and then it's pretty much you get to walk through their lives and see things that no one else would ever see. To me, that was like the epitome of the business, because I picked up a lot of tips and clues from people like him. Just learn certain things, because that's another thing. There's so many things that I now know because of the storage auction business I would have never learned in my normal walk of life. Never. Like, some of the things about Atlanta, some of the things about, there was newspaper clippings. I wouldn't have any clue about that stuff, So it was really cool. But, Papa was what I call one of my social scientist experiments, because to this day I wonder what happened to that dude. How did he go from being a apparently solid citizen with a family to being a homeless person? Because there was no medical records and nothing like that, so I don't know if it was mental illness, I don't know if he was an alcoholic, I don't know if he was on drugs. I have no clue to any of that stuff. But I do know that here was another person who started off great in life, and it just went to shit. And that's one of the puzzles, and that's one of the mysteries of this business, because, people how do people lose their stuff? Death, mental illness. I no longer give a shit. I mean, seriously, I got a lot of units like that. People just didn't care anymore. And it was really interesting. I would say some of the jewelry I found, because it was like I said, he was an Atlanta dandy. The dude had a lot of cufflinks. And that's where I made the bulk of my money on that unit on eBay, because some of the, he had Mason cufflinks from the 30s. I think those things went for $120. And he had another set, it was the cufflinks that made the money. Because the rest of the stuff, I could have did more with it if I had been in year 4 of the business versus that was year 1 or year 2, because there was other things I didn't know how to sell. And that's the progression of this business, because you'll buy a unit and you're thinking, oh, this is nothing but shit. And really, shit is your knowledge base or lack of a knowledge base, because a lot of stuff sells, and it's amazing that, when you plug it in the right channel, how much money you can get for what you think is obviously crap. Because knowing what I know now, I probably could have made $800 to $900 off that unit. Yeah. I did 200, but now I could probably make $800 because there was other stuff in there. There was some books that I threw away. Dumb. It's just how it is. Dwayne recently put up a video talking about, buying your education the second time. And whether you should, someone offers you money on eBay, should you take it or should you not take it? And, check it out. He does a good job of that. But this whole business is a learning curve that's like this, and so many people want to get to the end so quick. But the thing is, you have to have a passion for what you do, because the passion is going to carry you through the highs and lows. But if you have no passions and you're just in it for the quick buck in and out, you will fail at this business. You will fail. That curiosity of being, as my mom said, I was nosy, of just being able to get, that's what drove me more so than the money. Because it's like every day that I went out, I knew I had a chance of finding something unique, wonderful, different, or teaching myself something about my fellow human being. That was the thing that drove me. And that's why Papa Got a New Bag is so relevant, because how does a man go from that? And it still puzzles me. The mysteries of storage auction units. That's one of the things I loved. Stories like this. The end.